Hi, this is Kevin Thomas, and welcome to the At Home Film Festival. I was surprised how the passing of Diane Keaton really affected me. I did not realize how much I really admired her, cared about her work, and just was delighted by her personality that she showed on screen. And learning with all these tributes that filmmakers have done and co-stars, she apparently was as nice off screen as she was on screen. I find her to be one of the rare actresses that could do big dramas as well as slapstick comedy. She mastered both of those. No wonder she won an Academy Award for Annie Hall and was nominated 3 other times. So as we're looking at some of her best work here, I'm going to pay tribute to Diane Keaton. Typically, I pick movies that may not be so known or heard of, but she's been in some of the biggest blockbusters ever. And some of her lesser known films, a lot of them aren't her best work. They weren't bad, but if I'm going to pay tribute, I don't want to go to average because Diane Keaton does not deserve that. So I decided to make a kind of a cornucopia episode of Diane Keaton films. Some big blockbusters, maybe I'll tell you a secret about the film to add a little edge to it, and some that you may not have heard of because they weren't big box office hits or they were out so long ago you probably weren't even aware of their existence. So let's take a look at 7 wonderful films right now. Let's go! Right out of the gate, Diane Keaton was a hit. She did The Godfather. It was her second theatrical film, and she is so great in this, as well as its 2 sequels. She should have been up for an Oscar a couple of times for this movie, but she wasn't. Now, we all could watch The Godfather very easily. In fact, currently it's on Pluto, but in January it will be back in theaters. So the interesting thing I want to tell you about The Godfather is, did you know if it wasn't for Diane Keaton, Al Pacino would not have been in this movie? Yes, Diane Keaton had a relationship with Al Pacino, as well as 2 others that we will talk about soon. But they didn't think he was great when he first tried out. But when they did a screen test together, they felt the chemistry, so they hired him. And I don't think if it was for her, he might have been in it. Who else could we have seen in that role? He is so identified as Michael Corleone, right? Right. For her 8 movies she did with Woody Allen, someone she also had a relationship with, you would think I would pick Annie Hall, where she won the Oscar. I'm not the biggest fan of Annie Hall. Shh, I do like it. But I also think that year she gave a better performance in another film, which we'll talk about later. But it was hard to pick a Woody Allen movie because A, he's kind of canceled, but I don't want to cancel Diane Keaton just because she was in a Woody Allen movie. I wanted to pick Manhattan, which I thought was her best performance in a Woody Allen movie, but that involves Woody sleeping with a 17-year-old, so that was a no. Then I went to Interiors, which is dramatic, Woody Allen almost doing a Ingmar Bergman film, but that was more ensemble, less time for Diane to shine, even though she did. So I chose her last film together, Manhattan Murder Mystery, which you could pay to rent. It's really cute and fun. It does add a great suspense element to the film. And Woody wrote this with Mia Farrow in mind, but they broke up before they filmed. So Diane came in at the last minute, but Diane steals the show. She was up for a Golden Globe. It's very funny. It also reminds us of Nick and Nora Charles from the 30s. It's funny and it's mystery. And the ending is really like an Orson Welles film because I think they were watching an Orson Welles film. Oh my God, it's so good. Diana also had a romantic relationship with Warren Beatty, and I find her best performance was for Reds. I often think she should have won the Oscar for this. By the way, you could find it on Pluto. She is so good in this film, and their love story is so strong, yet they were at the end of their relationship by the time this movie was finished, so it was probably great acting to look loving. And this scene always gets me, where she's looking for Warren, of seeing if he survived a crash where all these people are coming off of this train. And is he there? We don't know. Warren, are you there? Oh, God. This movie was up for I think 11 or 12 Oscars. It won 3, including a Best Director for Warren Beatty. People thought it often should have won Best Picture, which it lost to Chariots of Fire, which is still a good movie, but I think this holds the test of time even better. And I'm about to almost get teary-eyed. Look at that face. She's just telling us how she feels inside, wondering if Warren's on the train. Did he survive? What's happening with him? Oh my God. They're closing the train. There's no Warren. What's going to happen? Is it over? Oh, Diane, I feel for you, girl. God, this is really, I remember crying so loud at the theater. My friend Carol would have laughed at me because she laughs at my loud snort cries. But, uh-oh, is she going to see a dead body? Look at her. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, God, that is not the homecoming she expected, is it? God, that's really, oh, wait. Oh, God, this gets me. Here we go. Oh, Diane, you're always funny too, but look at this. Oh, wow. So speaking of Reds, her performance was so great in that film, they really thought she'd be Oscar nominated. She had another movie ready to come out that year, Shoot the Moon. This movie, you have to pay a few dollars to rent, by the way, but they held this film off until the next year, but they made a mistake of releasing it in January where no one's going to remember for the next Oscar time. So they thought they could get 2 nominations for Diane Keaton, one for Reds one year and one for Shoot the Moon the next, but no. This movie, she was up for 3 or 4 other major awards for Best Actress. She and Albert Finney are great as a divorcing couple that tries so hard to keep the family together just for the kids, even though they're apart. Very wonderful film directed by Alan Parker, who did Midnight Express and Fame. He is a great filmmaker. He's really good at finding depth in his characters, and he does in this film. It was not even a hit at the box office. When it was thrown in theaters in January, that's usually where they just throw their trashy films out, the ones that they don't take seriously. So I don't think the audience did either, but it really needs to be noticed. Then we have Looking for Mr. Goodbar. Oh my God. This is the movie I think she actually should have been nominated for an Oscar in 1977 instead of Annie Hall. I do like Annie Hall. I don't think it stretches her talent as much, even her comedic talent. This movie, though, is gritty and dark, and it shows such a different side to Diane Keaton. I don't think she's done drama before this, but people did not forget. She was up for several awards for Best Actress, even a Golden Globe for Best Actress in the same year she was nominated for Annie Hall for Best Actress in a Comedy, because she was up for Best Actress in a Drama in this film. Everybody's wonderful in this film. Richard Kiley, who plays her father, is great. Tuesday Weld as her sister was Oscar nominated. We first learn about Richard Gere in this movie. It's so well crafted. I love the photography, which is also nominated. She plays a school teacher who her family favors her cuter, blonder sister. And she ends up going to New York to have her own life, to teach kids, and also uses the sexual awakening to get away from her family. So Diane does some really open sexual things in this that are almost unbelievable for her, but she was so good. I could watch this movie regularly, but the ending is so disturbing. I have to put it on that list that I can only watch once. When you see it, you should let me know. But this movie, I'm happy to have on here. You could find it on YouTube or rent it for a few dollars. But for decades, you couldn't find it anywhere, on video, on DVD. It didn't stream. I think they had a licensing problem with some of the songs, but now it's available. You have to catch this. And then why don't you compare this to Annie Hall and tell me what you think is the best performance of Diane Keaton of that year. Okay, let's go back to the comedic side of Diane Keaton because we've been a little heavy with dramas lately. Oh my God. I think I've talked about this on this show before, but I could watch Baby Boom every time it's on TV. She was up for a Golden Globe, deservedly so. By the way, you could watch it on MGM+, but she's a high-powered corporate businesswoman who inherits a child, and she's gonna show she could do both. Because why do women only have to go home and feed the baby? Well, we do learn that it's tougher than she thinks, and she's sliding at work as this corporate world, because she was known, I think, as the monster. Oh, no, the tiger. She was a tiger at work. But she's got to bend a little to make things successful, and she does. And at the same time, she gets a love story out of it. It's also a country-ish film where she leaves the big city. I just love this movie. I love Diane Keaton in this. It's so good. Let's just go watch it right now. Oh my God, it's so funny. Oh, I remember that scene. Oh, interesting little tale too. The girl who plays her daughter, obviously in movies, twins play the parts. They grew up decades later and found Diane at a book signing, and they went to see her, and they bonded all over again, even though decades had passed. Fun movie. Watch it. Our last few Diane Keaton films are great ensemble pieces with her and other women. She's done 11 movies with at least 3 main parts that were all women, and I love the fact that she took it into her later days, her dying days, where her last theatrical film was her in a buddy movie with other women. One of her early ones is Crimes of the Heart, which I have screened before, which I just think is adorable and quirky and weird, where she plays a sister with Jessica Lange and Sissy Spacek, and here she is getting mad at her cousin who's all uppity and social climber, and Diane couldn't take it anymore, so here she is telling that cousin to get out of her house and don't bug her. This movie's adorable. Love it, love it, love it. And you could catch it on Prime, so let's do it and celebrate Diane Keaton many, many times. Oh, that's so cute. Oh. The movie that seems to be trending the most since Diane Keaton passed is The First Wives Club, which you could find on Pluto. This too was a 3 best buddies film. This is more first wives getting revenge. This is one of the funniest scenes where they're outside and Diane is so afraid of falling down and scared of heights, but they need to sneak away, so this is the only way out. The interesting little tidbit I want to tell you about this movie is the 3 of them immediately wanted to make a sequel. The studio said no. They thought its $100 million plus success was a fluke. Well, it wasn't. It was a big hit, and other big hits came in Diane Keaton's future in movies that were female buddy pictures, such as The Book Club, which you could find on Pluto. This movie made even more money than The First Wives Club. Obviously, studios don't always know who their audience is. They were all wonderful. This even had a sequel. Diane Keaton made many other movies with other female actresses. They seemed to bond in real life, and I think she did that with everybody because she has a lot of female friends that she made movies with. She dated a lot of her co-stars in long-term relationships. So I think Diane Keaton is as nice as she appears, and no wonder I personally miss her so much. Well, that's our show of the week. I hope you share, subscribe, and come back as we leave. We're looking at some of other Diane's wonderful performances, like here's her Oscar-nominated Something's Gotta Give. She was always terrific. Thankfully, we have movies to remember her by, and I hope you do so with me because she is one of the best talents we've had. It seemed to be such a nice person, and I feel she's touched so many lives. So let's just enjoy her on screen. I'm sorry I couldn't cover more. There's still a whole bunch of her other movies that I enjoyed. I will quickly show their little posters here right now for you to take a look at and remember, because Diane Keaton is worth your time, your respect, and your appreciation. I will miss her. I think you will too. Thank you for tuning in. I will see you next week. Okay, bye-bye.
God, Annie. Well, oh well. La-di-da, la-di-da, la-la.